I will just do a quick introduction. And for those who are attending for the very first time, thank you so much. Welcome to BBX Knowledge Series. And for those of you who have been with us for a while, you'll know it's always the same thing she's going to talk about. But yeah, basically, we initiated this knowledge series more so to keep the community together, as times are as what they are. And obviously, in absence of physical events, we need to do this. Trying to at least be in touch with our members, be in touch with the community, learn from one another, because I think each one of us has a different experience to share during this. It's more than a year now. I think different businesses have, some have scaled up, some have stayed afloat, some have gone down. So it's really challenging times for everyone of us in a different way. But, as I said, we are trying to keep community together because, sometimes you may just learn something that you never thought of, or, someone may share something that may or may not work for your business. But, we are here to keep us together and learn together. So we have different topics every week to keep you engaged, we hope. And today, I think Renee is not a stranger to most of you. She wears many different hats. And I think she's been in this space of webinars for some time now, and I think more prominently during the COVID period. So I think she has a far more experience and mileage in terms of webinars. So I think I'm very sure she'll do an excellent job here. So I don't need to do much. But let me just do a quick introduction with the very limited information that I have here, because I just turned off from the other device. But basically, she's going to share on the omni-channel marketing strategy for SMEs and how to scale effectively. I think for those who know Renee, early days, she is the founder of the HER Entrepreneur. It's another ecosystem of entrepreneurs that, she hates. And then more recently would be her hashtag. I think, Renee, you got to correct me there somewhere about hashtag part of it. It's another business transformation platform. So as I say, she wears many hats. So let's welcome Renee, and I'm sure she's going to share with us many, many useful tips. And, you will definitely walk away with something very useful from today's webinar. So over to you, Renee. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sabina. A show of hands. Can I assume all of you are entrepreneurs? If you are, can you type 1 in the chat? Just type 1 in the chat if you're an entrepreneur, right? If you're not, then type 2. So at least you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, a startup. Yeah, 1. Okay, Janita is an entrepreneur. Okay, the rest can't find your chat. I hope you can find your chat box. Okay, 2, Gwendolyn, you're not. All right. So we have a mix of entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs today. So that is great. Now, how many of you here, you have to carry out the role of a marketer? If you have to, type A. Yes, right. Oh, yeah, type A. You need to carry out your role as a marketer. A. Okay, almost everyone. So whether you are an entrepreneur or not, the reason why you're here today is because, you have a role to play in your organization. All right, fantastic. That's good to know. Okay, for those who do not know me, I will sort of introduce myself in a bit. I'm going to share my screen with you right now. Hope all of you can see this. Right, so this is today's topic on omni-channel marketing strategies for SMEs to scale effectively. So as I go through the session, feel free to type in your questions. And of course, the moderators, BBX, if you see if there's anything that, that you pick up that I should address, feel free to stop me. All right. Okay, so a little bit about me. For those who don't know me, I'm the managing director of Hashtags. I'm the founder of HER Entrepreneur. And what do we do, right? So at Hashtags, we uplift businesses in brand transformation and marketing through advisory and implementation online and offline. So omni-channel is our strength. And we do both online and offline activities. I'll share with you some pictures and case studies that we have done later. And I'm also the founder of HER Entrepreneur. It's an omni-channel media platform and also an ecosystem of SME business owners, industry leaders, government, and investors across Asia. So I do have a double major in psychology and marketing. I'm also a certified management consultant, in which our work can be EDG supportable up to 80% for local SMEs here in Singapore. I'm also actor certified with more than 10 years of experience in marketing and the MICE industry. But prior to this, I was totally in a different field. I was in the life sciences field. I was in the stem cell department doing stem cell research before in the ASTA. So that's very different, but I'm growing the business in, of course, in marketing right now. So I've done a few things before and been invited to speak in quite a number of platforms, in platforms for the MICE industry in Australia, in Melbourne, in Singapore. At that time I was heavily pregnant. I was about to pop anytime. Also in Thailand and also in Malaysia as well, right? And a couple more. So a quick question that I would like to, before I kickstart the session, I'm just curious, right? How much are you willing to pay for this cup of coffee, right? So let's talk about, this, right? Coffee. Imagine the aroma of the coffee, right? How much are you willing to pay? Just type into the chat. I just want to see, how much are you guys willing to pay for a coffee these days? $1, $1.80, $2, right? $1.50. Well, Sabina, you're the most generous. Great. How about the rest? How much are you willing to pay for a cup of coffee just like this? $2. Okay. Fantastic. We've got different currencies as well. All right. Okay, so now how much are you going to pay if you see this? Just type in. Just type in. Okay, $5, $5, $7. Okay, because you have to step into Starbucks, because you get to step into Starbucks and then you buy and you go these days, and you can't even enjoy your coffee in the cafe. $6.20, $7. Okay, we've got very generous people in the house. $4.90. Okay. Sing dollars, huh? Not USD, right? Yeah, okay. So you see, there's a huge difference. You guys are willing to pay like 7 times more for a cup of coffee just because of this logo. That's a bit strange, right? But it's the same cup of coffee, I tell you, right? So now that's the funny thing about people, right? When it's a generic, people don't bother paying more for a generic. But if it is branded, it has meaning to it, or people perceive it to be branded, more superior, and therefore are willing to pay 5 to 7 times more. So that's quite the norm for most things, right? Even for B2B solutions or B2C solutions, all right? So some of the common gaps of businesses that we observed along the way as we consult, right, would be when we interview the founders, we realize that majority of them are very passionate about what they do, right? And when we look at their touch points, we realize that a lot of things are missing, right? We say, where's the passion? I don't feel it. I don't feel the fire, right? Because it's pretty much a product site, right? It's just product selling, feature selling, nothing much. There's no story about why they even start this business. And then the USP and the positioning of the businesses are usually not highlighted, just the products and services, very common. And many SMEs think short-term sales, right? So they would spend a lot of money on advertising. And then they realize that over time, how come they're spending so much advertising dollars and the results are getting worse over time, right? The results will decline over time for the same activity with the same amount of ad spend, okay? And most SMEs underestimate the value of brand equity. And they focus on the product and service, of course. They don't care about the equity so much. That's a mistake, right? So people are willing to pay more for the same kind of product. So why not leverage on that? So the reason is that people buy from brands or people they trust. And remember, so how can we build trust, especially on social media, especially on digital marketing? Before, those were the days of say, okay, I meet my customers every day. There's a lot of one-to-one sort of engagement every day. And so they trust me, they buy from me. So now if you don't get to meet people, people are not willing to meet you, what are you going to do digitally? Are you going to stay put, not do anything? Or what can you do, right? Neither do you want to end up spending a lot of advertisement dollars. So what can be done? So that will be kind of addressed in today's session. So we don't have a lot of time, but of course, I do my best to cover the different segments. All right. So let's talk about brand equity. So some people may ask, what's brand equity? So what drives brand equity? I don't know that. I'm not a Starbucks. I don't have a lot of money to spend. I don't have investors' dollars. So how can I start? So there's always a way to start. So the first driver would be awareness, right? Just be very clear who your target audience is. Yeah, your customers, your stakeholders, are they aware? So if you tell someone that, oh, okay, this product is meant for working professionals, and you go to a working professional, hey, have you heard of my brand ABC? And they say, no, haven't heard of it. Then you realize that people are not aware. And do you have enough, differentiating factors that you shout out to your clients? Is it unique? Is it different? Is it customer relevant? Is it compelling to that group of customers or not? Right? Number 3, do you bring value, good value for that price? Now, people buy things, people are quite okay. They're willing to spend some money, but how do they know? They pack certain value to products. And for the same product, if it's a XYZ brand versus maybe an Apple brand, a Samsung brand, same product, but just different brand, people will trust the branded ones just because they thought, I have affinity with it, I'm familiar with it, better be safe than sorry. This is the kind of mindset they have. So they go for the branded guys. And then you say, oh, I'm only an SME, I'm not branded, people don't know me, I'm always going to be in this cycle. No, you can change things. So accessibility, do customers and or potential customers, meaning your prospects, perceive your brand to be convenient? Can I easily reach out to you? So some people say, I drop a note, you guys don't care. I tried to buy something, I couldn't even check out, and then nobody is entertaining me. So it's accessibility. You need to make sure that it's easy for people to check out and buy or to get in touch with you. It's B2B. And there must be an emotional connection. Does your brand connect with people on an emotional level? At the end of the day, it's the emotions that sell. That is why we talk about omni-channel. Digital marketing, to some extent, it can go to up to a certain level. But people being people, they need that touch point to feel closer to you, to be emotionally connected. Therefore, between virtual events versus a live event, which people can shake hands with you, they could feel you, could give you name cards, people just like that connection. So it's different, right? So you say, with online stores, why do people still have to go shopping? Why do people still need to go to Starbucks to smell the aroma just to collect that coffee and go out? Why can't they just get Grab and, buy that coffee? If they do that, why buy Starbucks? Buy any coffee, right? So the emotional connection is important. Now, marketing has evolved along the way. A lot, right? Has anyone seen billboards? Do we still have billboards here? I hope this generation of the attendees, you have seen billboards before, I'm sure. Right, so billboards before, but these days, how people market themselves, they don't call it billboards, they call it, like virtual reality, or they call it like something that's immersive, or in this case, it's a little bit more 3D, and it's digital boards, right? But this is like, whoa, it's like the real thing, or the bull is coming out. And that led to a lot of reaction, a lot of posts with regards to this picture. And I'm not sure if anyone knows where this is taken. Anyone knows? All right, it's in KL Pavilion, right? So there were a lot of commotion, of course. So it has evolved. Now, let's look at another one. Right now, right, we watch TV. Let's say your kids were to watch TV. They're very different to before when we were kids, right? When we watch TV, we really just watch TV. You watch a soccer match, you just watch a soccer match. And then when you see ads, they have a number and then say, please call. And then you call them, hi, I'm going to buy this. So that's before. But now, we have done a training program where we served a telco. And they were just trying to figure out in this training program what millennials really want. what do millennials watch? Because they no longer watch your traditional shows these days. You ask them about the celebrities of MediaCorp, they don't know, right? But they know certain influencers instead. Things have changed. So these days, how do you combine TV, right, ads with online kind of reaction, right? So there are, like, for example, soccer tournaments, right? For example, and let's say they are running a championship, and then after which, right, they will start to promote maybe the game. So people who watch the game on TV, right, they also want to play the game and, you know, be projected as the soccer player that they like, right? So they will immediately go on their phones to do something. So you realize that the behavior of the new generation consumers have changed. The moment they see something on news, the moment they see a name, the moment they see a brand, immediately they will do a Google, right? They're going to check them out, they're going to check the reviews, and they say, how can I be engaged on this platform? Now, if you only focus on traditional adverts and you can't be found online, then you're losing out a lot and you're wasting a lot of ad dollars. So you don't want that. You need to close the loop. So omni-channel is about that, right? Which I'll explain shortly. And how many of you still go to the market? If yes, type Y. You still go to the wet market? Yay! Okay, we've got people who still go to the wet market. That's great. And then I only see one Y. Okay. And now people no longer want to go to the market, especially the younger folks, right? They don't like it, right? Because it's too wet for them, maybe. So they rather go online, the comfort of their own homes with aircon on, and they book, right? And they don't care whether they could feel or smell the veggies, you know, it comes. I trust them because I trust this platform. That's it, right? Rarely look. Yeah, do you cook? Yeah, look. I hope so. You don't, you see? So people buy what's ready and quick, right? Time is important. Saving time, saving money is all very important. So things have changed. So understand that. So I'd like to share this from 4Ps, which is until today, if you ask a student who does a marketing major and you ask them to flip the book, it's still 4Ps, by the way. It's all form of marketing, but yes, okay, we still acknowledge there's still the presence of the 4Ps: product, place, promotion, and price. However, things have evolved, and then we had 4Cs, meaning you need to be customer-centric, you need to think about convenience, you need to think about how to communicate to the audience, you need to think about the cost or reciprocal benefits to your audience or your partners. And now we're going to 4Es, where it's about experiential selling. Not everybody has a retail shop. Is your retail shop just going to be any other retail shop? Is it experiential? Is it something that I can do, try, and then later I can buy online, which in the end I'll be saving more? You know, how are you going to do that, right? So you need to be everywhere, meaning you need to be in all of the touch points. If you have a physical store, you need to make sure you have an online store. If you're pure online, okay, fine, that's online. But are you in all distribution channels? Got partners to help you? How about evangelism? Last time is about, you know, promotion, just run ads. Evangelism, you think about who can I work with? Who can be a good spokesperson for my brand? Before, we always find these stars like the Zoe Tay, Gong Li, you know, all the big stars to do publicity for a brand. Can we afford that these days? Really? Don't know, right? But if you're an SME, if you can't afford these stars, what are you going to do, right? And then you've got your influencers now, and then the micro influencers. To be honest, you and I, all of us, can be influencers too, right? As long as this is the target audience you want, a normal person can be your influencer. Then they can shout out and share more about what you do. They provide the testimonials, right? And price to cost to exchange. So these days, is there an exchange? So if you work with a partner, if you work with the influencer, what are you going to give in return? So, okay, I'm going to promote your brand. What are you going to do? You're going to pay me? Are you going to give me products and pay me? Or are you going to do this and that, right? There must be what we call equitable exchange, of course, for anyone to be willing to work with you. If they don't find it equitable, of course, they won't work with you. So think about that, okay? Now, the wonders of omni-channel marketing. It's really great, but you need to know how to implement all of it such that it is seamless and is great for your business. And it's important to understand each and everyone's business because it's different. And the way you do omni-channel marketing, B2B, B2C, is very different. There's different touch points, different social media channels, right? Different way of doing things. But I just want to give you an overview what it really means. So as you can see from the diagram, is customer in the center. So the customer is actually the key person, not the company, not you, not your company. So when you decide what marketing channels to push out, it's not about you, but think about your customers. Where will the customers find you, right? So that is important. So you've got things like social media, online, your physical store, if you have any, if not online store. Do you have a CRM platform where you can manage your leads, your contacts? No point doing marketing, a lot of lead generation, and then you don't know how to manage it, right? You don't know how to push information to them. What's the point, right? You can run it on Excel sheet all the time, right? How about mobile, SMS marketing, right? And how you deal with data. So multi versus omni, what's the difference? So you may ask, multi-channel, this is what I'm doing, also has a lot of channels. So what's the difference? So multi-channel means it starts with your company, it moves outward to the channels, right? So it's very company focused. Whereas omni-channel starts with the customer, and all these channels will interact for a seamless experience. All right. So that's the difference. Okay. So say, for example, just to walk you through, right, an example. You see an ad, you click on it, and then you realize that, oh, okay, interesting. They are selling this pair of jeans. And then say, oh, but I have no time now. I'm going to work. Maybe I'll check it out when I'm home. At a home, you search for that brand, you look for that pair of jeans that you want to buy. And you realize that, oh, they've got a store nearby as well. So maybe I'll go check them out, try it. And then, of course, customers are very smart. They will compare price. What's the difference between online and offline price, right? How many of you are like that, right? How many of you are like that, right? If yes, just type Y, right? So once you arrive, you ask a lot of questions about that product, and you realize, oh, okay, I can actually buy it online. I'm not going to buy retail because it's cheaper online. Then you just purchase online. And then if you're happy with it, and if delivery is great, the service now is how fast the delivery. And when they deliver, if there's any problem, I can return it, can refund it, right? So the way service excellence has also evolved. Before, you get to liaise with the shopkeeper a lot, but these days online. And you got to be fast. You got to have a chat bot that communicates with them quickly, right? And then the whole cycle repeats itself. Okay, so it is really kind of comprehensive, right? You need to cover a few aspects. So another example that I can give would be, Starbucks, since all of you know the brand Starbucks, or Coffee Bean, right? Same thing. They implement omni-channel strategy as well. Why? Because they have got an app. They used to have carts also, right? So you really, you're able to receive points, reward points the moment you buy, and you're able to redeem items. But you still go to the store to purchase and have that feel, have that experience, listen to the music, smell the aroma, and then you go out and the whole cycle starts again. It's online, offline. So this customer journey analytics shows you that you can't rely on only one channel to be really, successful, because you need to consider the behavior of your customers. So your content, you have got content, have you got social activities, right? Do you do email marketing? Do you do advertising? Do you leverage on data to study your customers? Do you kind of break them down, categorize them based on industries, based on the countries they are, and realize, at the end of the year, you take out the report and analyze it and say, okay, most of the customers are here. We've got enough data for these. Where else can we expand into, and what are the strategies to reach out to them? All right. So the elements of integrated marketing consist of many, many areas. So before you start execution, you must always plan ahead of time. Strategize first. I always tell my clients, right? Look at the fundamentals. Before you run any campaigns, before you spend any advertisement, go through the fundamentals. I'll look at all your touch points and see if you guys have fixed it properly. If not, don't move on and spend too much money, because what you don't want at the end of the day, you spend money on advertisements, the touch points are not done properly. They come to your site, for example, because you've been driving traffic. And then you've got a lot of traffic to your site and you analyze, you realize no sales, no conversion. Then what's the reason? Right? You want to minimize that. I'm not saying that, it won't happen if you kind of make sure everything is good, but I'm just saying that you minimize the chances of people dropping out, because the moment they come in, it must look like they want to, they feel like they can connect with the brand. They feel like, oh, okay, I like these products. Oh, it's so attractive. I like how they position it. I trust the brand and things like that. So brand development comes in, because what makes up your site, right? You must have your logo. You must have your taglines, right? What is this business about? Why do you even set up, right? You need to have content. Content on your site is minimal, but what kind of content? All the websites so far when we analyze, about 80% of our clients, their content, they're all product content, service content. Now, these are my products. Bah. For more information, contact us. Nah. This is what we sell. That's it. So what's the vision? What's so special about you, right? What are you trying to drive, right? People want to be unique. It needs to be relatable to people or to your target audience. Graphic design, of course, it needs to look modernized, right? For the current climate, for your new generation consumers, right? Events, what sort of events? See, like this, right? PR, social media needs to be done. Some print, digital advertising. These days, more digital advertising because print is not working so well, right? Web development for sure. And then back to strategy again, review, okay? So how many of you here run B2B businesses and B2C businesses? Please type in the chat. If you're B2B, just type B2B. If you're B2C, just type B2C. I just want to know, if you're open to sharing what business you're in, feel free to type it in as well. B2B to C, yeah, B2B, because you serve offices, yeah. Okay, mostly there are a lot of B2Bs here. Okay, right, so, okay, so I'll share a mix of both, right, types of marketing. Now, if you do B2B sort of businesses, then the way your language will be different from B2C language, because it's the business to business promotion at the end of the day. It's logic driven. You may have many stakeholders involved, as some of you know, right? Even for a membership, right? And how long it takes to close a deal, for example, to convene someone. So it needs to focus on the time, the money, the resources saved. And of course, you have some in-depth promotion that would work. And not all channels will be suitable. Like, for example, Instagram may not be so suitable for B2B so much compared to B2C, right? B2C promotion, your message needs to be also very simple, but also it needs to appeal to the consumers, right? It needs to be attractive. Your content, it's readable, easy to understand. The pictures and the videos that you chose is enticing, right? And it appeals to emotion. What are the benefits back again, right? And how it can solve the problem. Okay, so here's the thing. The marketing funnel for B2B and B2C is the same. You still have to go through the funnel. It is a misconception to think that today I run a B2B or I run an awareness campaign and I expect sales tomorrow. You need to follow a sequence of things, right, to drive sales and loyalty. All right, so let's look at the marketing funnel. Now, whether B2B or B2C, your customers will always look for information. They try to look for information online, or they go shopping, they say, I want to go somewhere. Rarely these days, people just go shopping blindly. They usually will check out, go online and say, okay, what they want to buy and where they should go then, right? It's very targeted shopping these days, right? People don't hang around so much like before. So they search for information and you need to generate interest. Why? If you don't generate interest, then they will not learn about their products. So B2C, they need to learn about the products, right? What is it about? What's the benefit for me? So for B2B, it's the same thing. They look at the products, they will look at the review more. Why? Because B2B, maybe there are more stakeholders. That's one thing. They need to make sure they don't screw up because they'll look back in the organization. So you need to have enough content on your touch point. You know content, then how would they get to know about what you do? But what I'm saying here, your product content is not about specifications. That's not good content. So this content is like, ooh, a lot of specifications. That's good. No, you talk about how it can benefit them. Just like maybe the phones, right? They don't care. They don't talk about the specifications of the phones on the advertisement because it's so short. To the consumers, it's just lifestyle. It's just that feeling like so convenient. I can take a shot and it looks like this. I can fold it and I can keep it in my pocket, right? So they look at those things. You need to generate that interest and then consideration for them to buy. People read reviews and compare products. They share information to consider which is the best brand. So for all B2B, same thing, right? Or most, okay, or maybe the bigger organizations, the government bodies, they usually look for 3 codes. But B2C, maybe more than 3 codes, right? You want that dress and you I go Lazada, I go Shopee, I go Qoo10 and say, okay, are they selling the same stuff? And then which is the cheapest? Maybe you go to more than 3 platforms even, right? People like to compare and consider. And then you need to build that intent for people to buy, okay? So for B2B, the intention to buy, right? People will want a product demo. If they have the intention to say, can you demonstrate how this is done? Can you share with me case studies? Can you demonstrate or share with me how the proposal is like? So there's some intention. And then they'll start to evaluate, right? So the thing about B2C, very tricky, is that they put a lot of items in their shopping cart and they're not ready to check out. And then they revisit that on another day. Who does this? Anyone like this? If it's you, type me. It means to shop, so many clothes, and you still don't want to buy, and you just put them in the shopping cart. You don't want to check out. Poor thing, right? And then imagine you're the merchant, you'll be like observing, okay, but no, okay, maybe the platform be wondering, okay, why are these people not buying? So should I push them, maybe with a promo or something like that to make them buy on my platform? So the thing with B2B, then they will look at the contract of the proposal, they will review that. So usually when they reach this stage, it's pretty good stage, right? It's the bottom of the funnel, and then they will buy and sales transaction is complete, right? So after which, then you talk about loyalty, okay? Now the next thing is that, people say, oh, content is important, content is king, but why is it king? Anyone has any thoughts about that? Why is content king? Why is it so important? Why bother about content? You need time to write. You need to think about content. You need to post something that's nice. Any thoughts? If you have any comments, feel free to type it in. Why to you content is important? Or you have no idea? No idea, right? People like stories. Yeah, okay. Now, why is content so important? But how do we leverage on content, right? How do we use content effectively? How we can, through omni-channel means, use the content on multiple platforms so that we save time. And you're the owner of the content anyways. Why can't you maximize it, right? So number 1 is to create it. So there are steps, just like the staircase. There's a flight of stairs. You can't just jump like that, right? So first, you need to create awareness, right? You create the content, then people will be attracted to go to your page, your social media page, or your website, or your YouTube, or whatever it is, wherever that you're promoting. Create that content. And then next is to promote it to a group of people who are your audience. So they could come from a group, if you join groups, right? Or they're already in your ecosystem. If they're not in your ecosystem, you need to build your tribe. You need to find ways, right? So you attract visitors, you blog your posts, web content, articles. You need to then later think about how I can gather information. What's the point if I see so many people, but they like, but they stop seeing my posts because not 100% of people who follow or like your Facebook page these days could see your posts. But you can't be spending ads every day. Then how? So you need to find a way to gather information. You need to give away something for free. What's free? Think about it. For your business, what's free? Is it newsletters? Is it ebooks for them to download? Is it a webinar like this? Like BBX, you conduct this webinar, you collect information. And how can you further your discussion with them, right? As you can see, there are fewer and fewer people. You don't expect the same number of people here to be here. It's not possible, right? So there will always be a smaller and smaller group of people who are most interested in what you do. But that's good, right? Okay, because this is what we call quality leads. It's not about massive numbers, but quality. So you need that interaction, have that consultation. Now we could do it over Zoom. Interact with them and assess whether they're a good fit for you. And then request a proposal. They will request it, send it over to them. This is very much like, this can be applied, right? Just that, of course, B2C is not about request a proposal, right? B2C, you don't really need to do much of this part. But B2C, you probably need to, gather a lot of information and push them right into your site to get them to buy. Okay, so content is important. So there's targeted content, and this is based on the buying cycle, right? Consumer thoughts are of different layers. So this one is what we went through, the funnel. So the funnel is the same. So you need to decide, first funnel, awareness of the need. What can you produce for your target audience? Video and infograph, and simple content that you can put on social media. What can you do, right? Consideration research. You make sure when they look for information, they can find them. Like, say, for example, comparison research. You can be featured in other media platforms as well to create that credentials, credibility. That's why later I'm going to share with you, a little bit on PR as well, right? People must know that you are a person that I can trust, right? People buy from people they trust, or brands that they trust. And then you do things like analysis, or purchase, right? Purchase type of content, case studies, and loyalty. Loyalty, you need to make sure that you have email marketing, you've got blogs, you've got social media, you've got webinars like this to keep them coming. They may not be buying every time they come to your sessions, but that's okay, because that's publicity and they're listening to you. Why not, right? Versus if you just say, oh, can we have a Zoom call? And people will say, oh, no, thanks, right? So there are different stages, and there are different types of content. The long-form content, a long-form content example will be blogging, right? How can you blog about something that people will read, right? And that will help you to boost SEO performance, because all these, we usually work backwards for clients, right? We'll look at the keywords that they would like to dominate in. And because of that, then we'll analyze the type of keywords that are mostly searched, okay, by people from the country. Then we curate the content titles to fit, right? So there's always that balance to make, because the entrepreneur will always say that I know these topics very well, and these are all product related topics. And then they will write very technical stuff, okay? No joke, right? Even skincare products, they'll go very technical. They go very technical about the epidermis, But will the audience really go so deep? To some, yes. So depending on how you want to position it, and to highlight the important things to your customers, right? So all these matters. Short form content will be social media to increase social interaction and visibility, right? We can turn very dull technical content to something that's more readable for the audience. Okay, and we can also run webinars like this, and we can showcase this on social media. And if it's a B2C brand, things that matter to the audience, you need to choose, very attractive pictures or videos. You need to run different kind of campaigns to attract people. And it's not all about ads, to be honest. There are a few things that, can be done. So tips for good content is about originality. Yes, it can be content that is out there already, but how you write it is original. How you write it, how you rephrase it in your own language that is suitable for that market, right? So say, for example, today I met a client, and, we asked, so which markets are most important to you? Where do you want to market? And they go like, this country, this country, this country, this country, this country. And they say, okay, how many social media platforms have you got? So, we just have one. But localization is very important. You need to know, for every country, the lingo is very different. The way you write is very different, right? so the language or how the picture should be portrayed is also very different, right? The colors that you choose is also very different. So you need to look into that. Headlines also, you must have actionable items, right? So CTA, call to actions. So you provide content, and then below is like, for more information, reach out to us at. Right? The worst thing is that people don't know where to find you, right? It moves so fast. The ad moves so fast. You scroll down it. Okay, I missed that ad. So where can I forgot the brand. So yeah, when I click in, I don't see anything, or it's not a good landing page. So all these matters. All right. And you're able to provide answers. So people want answers. They want to search for content. They want answers to the questions that they will have. And your topic should be engaging and thought-provoking if possible. But of course, depends, in terms of PR, where you want to stand. Some brands are quite aggressive. They're very loud. To begin with, they say, we are a loud brand. We need to choose very loud colors. And the type of ads we do, they're going to be loud, right? For some brands, especially if you do B2B, you need to be careful, because depending on the type of clients that you serve, if they're all serious, then you ensure that your kind of content will be a little bit more catered to them. It's a little bit more serious, a little bit more suitable for the stakeholders, right? There are instances where, a brand went out and they were pitching to a huge mall. And then they say, my company is banana something. And they thought this is a creative brand. And the stakeholders say, what kind of name is this? What banana something, it sounds very insulting. It sounds very, I don't think it's suitable. I don't think I want to work with this brand. So you need to be careful with who your target audience is. Images, videos need to be enticing. Short and pointed content would be great. Also depending, right, through our analysis, if you're targeting a different market, like a Singapore market, right, if you're on Instagram, it has to be short, crisp, as much as you can. Or social media is slightly long form because the age group is a little bit, they're a bit slightly older, right? And then when you go into LinkedIn, it's a different type of content where it has to be serious. If you take the same content for social media that is very much lifestyle and whatnot, you put it on LinkedIn, that's not going to be good effect also. And the key is continual updates, very, very consistent with your content, right? So now touch points. So today we also had a very interesting discussion with one client, and they say, we engage a vendor. They're supposed to do web development, but they don't even unable to even write content or to portray our business in a certain sense. I say, yeah, you need to understand there are different types of vendors. You've got web development vendors, you've got web design vendors, you've got web strategy. And most of the time they lack the strategy. Why? Because what they simply do is give me the content. All right, this is the template. I'm just going to copy and paste. They don't care about strategy. They don't care about the UX. Maybe they don't care about where should the placement be, whether you should talk about certain things at certain moments, because they don't care about strategy. You say, this is a fixed template. I just put it on for you. So what's the difference? Seems the same. So what? But what matters more? So always start with the strategy first, then execute. Strategize first. What should be it, right? Then convey that message. Because if you need to understand the vendors, level of competency and what they specialize in. So, but this is a common kind of misunderstanding between the buyer and the seller, right? Because then they thought, you should be able to help me. You should be able to, determine where it should be, because I'm not an expert. But say, no, I just developed that site for you. That's it. So you need to understand the difference. Okay. And also another touch point to cover is why PR matters. And some people say, no, I'm not ready for PR. Sure. If you're not ready, don't do it. Because before you go into PR, you make sure that everything is well taken care of already. That means you have consistency in the brand message. You've got consistency in how you market yourself as a personal brand, as yourself, as the founder, the company, and at the same time, the brand, before you go for public relation activities, right? So PR is about sending the right messages to the right place, the right people, creating a very strong brand reputation. So say, for example, going to an event to speak, there's a bit of PR there, right? A media platform will feature you. There's PR there. You don't want them to feature you in a very strange manner, right? It needs to be aligned with your values and your corporate values. And the purpose of this is to increase brand credibility and create a suitable brand image. And today, before the call, so many calls, right? The clients, a different brand. She said, okay, my product is featured in one of the UK store, right? And I wrote into the papers, they refused to get back to me to feature me. But why? Lately I saw this person who has her product also in the same store in UK, and she gets featured. And I look at it and say, oh, I know this person, right? I know this person, right? Say, okay, yeah, so what did she do differently that I didn't do? Say, well, I mean, she's been out there, she went for the awards, she exhibited in a show, she was speaking in some places, she's been doing marketing here and there. So when the media sees it, they feel that, oh, the coverage is the basic coverage is there, and they feel safe to publish you. Their reputation is also at stake. So these subtle things, it's not easy for us to understand, but this is how the industry works. So media publicity is important. When you're ready, you go out, and you don't necessarily have to go out on your own. People will find you somehow, I don't know, but somehow people will find you. So media publicity. So just to recap a little bit on the marketing funnel, on the 3 FUs, right? This is marketing funnel, and not just go anybody, right? So on what items to do when, because it's also very important, right? Before you execute anything, understand where you are. So let's say you are at the stage wherein awareness is not there. You realize when you ask people about the brand, nobody knows. You ask people, okay, when I see you, do you remember what I do? If they don't remember, it means they can't find the association, right? So you need to find a way to increase the awareness. So you increase the visitors, right, followers and things like that. This is top of funnel. So don't expect the bottom of funnel results yet. If it happens, it's bonus. And then about consideration, how to make people consider, right, to buy something, to read something. And then how do I convert them to a lead? And then prospects, right? How can I build loyalty? If you don't have a system in place, you've got to think about digitalizing, right? So people talk about digital transformation, digitalizing, blah, blah, blah. It may seem very big and scary for SMEs or small startups, right? But the purpose, you must think about the benefit, is to link back to the activities you do. Because when we review our customers' business, we always ask them, what tools do you use? Then how do you track? You say, no, I don't have these, I don't have that, I don't have a program, I don't have anything, but yet you want to achieve this much. So you make sure that all these things are being fixed. Then you can go into advocacy after that. So it's quite balanced. And then you continuously want loyal fans. Why? Because you want them to repeatedly buy from you. Not buy one time and then leave and then don't come back again. You need to create the stickiness. So product is also important. Back to the basic of 4 Ps. So what marketing can help you is promotion, right? The product, the price, right? The place, which you decide. All these 3 things are the founders. If all 3 factors are lukewarm, they are quite, on average, then how much can marketing boost? So you got to look into all these factors. So how we do things a bit differently is that we go on a very consultative approach. A typical marketing agency, which we don't position ourselves as one, would be quite campaign focused. They'll ask you what campaign you want to run, how much dollars you have to spend, and then they'll run the ads for you. They execute immediately. So for us, we do it on a more consultative approach. We look at the objective of the business first. We think for the clients and we think with the clients. We co-ideate, co-create, develop the strategies, and then execute with a positive impact. Okay? So, there are a few ways that we go about it. We use digital tools. Sometimes we do it in the client's premise. We go through the whole exercise and to create that roadmap on how they can brand transform. This brand transformation roadmap is not for me to say. The client must envision themselves where they want to be so that we know how to craft that roadmap. Because sometimes they have so much vision, but they don't have a team to help them. And then usually it's that one founder who always crack his or her brain all the time. And then they don't know how to move forward. And that's where we come in to help them. So we do the competitive analysis as well. We do market research to understand the preferences or behavior if they have a launch product, for example. So at the end of the day, you need to develop the marketing strategies for the chosen outcome, right? If you have a certain outcome, these strategies must tie in such that the outcome can be met. But don't expect overnight success. Don't tell me, okay, I've got investors' dollars. I've got, maybe every month I could spend X dollars, and then within 3 months I must see results. Up to a certain extent, right? Digital can only work up to a certain extent. And even if you do traditional ads, which are much more expensive, and now it doesn't work so well because people don't go out, then you got to be very creative. How do you do guerrilla marketing now, right? Traditional marketing, does it really work? If you do TV ads, what kind of TV shows? If you don't even know what your target audience even like to watch, know their persona, right? So we do touch points improvisation as well to ensure that, all these will fit in. So I'll just share, very briefly some of the brand transformation projects that we do. We help them with business strategy, market research, influencer marketing, social media, content development. We do some of the, technical content, rephrasing, to increase readability for different sectors. So organically you do that and could increase their impressions up to 6 times without advertisement costs. But it's over time, over a period of time, right? Touch point, LinkedIn engagement if it's B2B. We also have very traditional businesses like shipping industry as well. They needed to uplift themselves so that they could reach out to investors or different types of partners in the business. So this is our feature. Of course, the PBX is a big part of it, right? So thanks that. So it's been featured in some of the media platforms. We have done webinars like this, which are what we call digital engagement. So some of the brands could also think about how you could leverage on this sort of platforms to do digital engagement. So B2C, you can also do that. It doesn't have to be like this, but B2C can be more fun. If you sell food, then of course you go into food demo recipes. You've got products, you can show people what this product can do for you and demonstrate, and people go, wow, yeah. So build your tribe accordingly, right? Offline engagement we've done before. Yeah, so these were the past, year on year we run conferences. Sorry, the format goes when I kind of expand this. So year on year we run conferences in Singapore, Malaysia. And of course we stopped with the COVID, and therefore we did the virtual summits, monthly sessions as well, right? A lot of offline engagement to engage with the whole community of businesses, right? And we also have the network of the business owners from various trades across Asia. Not sure if you'll find some of their faces familiar. If you know the stars, Wong Li Lin, Cheryl Wee from Geniet Group. You would know, I don't know whether you know Wohab Group, the 4th gen business owner. If you're into Malaysia, you're in Malaysia, then you know Christy Ng Shoes, Oh My Home, and things like that, many others. We've got the MDEC CEO over here as well. We've got the Ministry of Entrepreneur Development from Malaysia, and many others, right? We've got the ministers who come by. Oh, that's Luke, right? Yeah, with Soup Spoon, the fighter with 4 fingers, with Dr. Ong, and then this is One Championship founder, Chatri. Yeah, that's just some of the feature. So this is a little bit just to share with you how we do, just for you to know, okay, PR can be done, offline, online activities can be done. It needs a bit of work for sure. So our unique selling proposition, of course, we'd advise to go on an omni-channel marketing approach that's integrated, that's customer-centric. You look into, both online and offline capabilities, right? Look into, from digital to mice, we've got experience. We've done consumer type of events as well, where we, we've done with Sports SG, with Breast Cancer Foundation, for example, right, where the target audience will be people, right? And we've done activities like K-pop acts to reach out to the younger gen ladies. We have also done fitness sessions. We've also done like a family event where everybody has to be in superhero clad costumes, and we got the superhero book of records, this book of records sort of award and things like that. This is for the fun of it, but make that work fun, right? So we're quite business objective rather than campaign focused, very consultative in nature, and education is also part of DNA. Therefore, we're willing to share information, how you can do better. We have webinars every month, right? As well, So, and we focus on building the community of ecosystem where we learn from each other as well. So And advice is be clear what you want to achieve and be very consistent with the activities. So there's no quick fix to any problem. Don't expect miracles with inconsistency. So don't expect within a short period of time, you see immediate results if the fundamentals are not corrected. Running a business is really like a marathon, as we all know, right? And organic, think about how you can do things organically as well, but that doesn't mean organic means you don't seek an expert help, because organic is more difficult. Because that's the reason, right? Organic is more difficult. You don't spend money yet you want to achieve something. Then how to do that, right? Times when you want to boost performance, like taking steroids, right? Just like athletes and all that, that's inorganic marketing. And over time, this spending of ad dollars, you will also see a decline in performance because you keep taking it. Right, just like steroids, you keep taking it, then the effects is lesser and lesser. But in this case, it's because of the algorithm in social media and Google that it kept changing, so that you spend more money to see the same results. That's what they want. But are they sustainable? So think about that. You need a support system. You need good balance between organic and inorganic marketing. So there are some side effects. Efficacy reduces over time. Akin to pure marketing strategies, ad strategies, cost increase over time for the same performance. So you need to find the optimal balance at the end of the day. So some good news is that our work can be supportable by some of the funding schemes like EDG and also MRE, right? So local SMEs with up to 30% local shareholding who need support in strategic brand and marketing development could reach out to us, and also business strategy as well. And if you're ready to expand into certain markets, like things like virtual business matching, they can be funded under certain funding schemes as well. So if you would like more information, please feel free to reach out to me at this email. I could type it in as well. Yeah, and our website, hashtag spelled with a Q. Okay, all right. So I've come to the end of today's presentation, but feel free to type in your questions, or if any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask me. Yep. Any questions?
Wow, I just want to say thank you. Oh my God, that was like so much to digest. Okay, I think for me personally, I think learning how critical content is and how to where to get your audience, I think it's my major takeaway. So thank you so much. But I'm sure everyone has something that they have related with, or caught up with, that probably they feel that, oh, this part of my business or my whatever organization needs a fix. So I hope everyone has gotten something to take back. So feel free to ask questions. I know Renee has another one at 5. Yeah, so maybe she's got about 5 minutes, I guess. How much more? Yeah, about 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. So feel free to ask her. Unmute yourself. You can show your video. Otherwise, you can just type in the group chat. In the chat box, whichever you are comfortable with.
Sure. And if you're too shy, you can always drop me a note as well. To see how best to address that.
We typically have a shy audience. For some reason, I don't know. Yeah, you go ahead. You would like to ask.
Well, I've all these years, right, I realized Renee is very passionate in what she's doing. And so what keeps you going, Renee?
Wow, this is not a marketing question. Okay, need to So what keeps me going? I just feel that, I get excited when I do my clients' projects as if it's my project, because I also get to learn about their industry and things like that. And of course, the areas that they are not familiar with, in which we are, we need to find ways to kind of like accommodate to that situation or the challenges that they're facing. And it gets really interesting, challenging, but interesting, because we see the effects and we see transformation happen along the way. And that's really very fulfilling. And it's that sense of fulfillment that encourages me, that keeps me going.
Okay.
The support from the ecosystem, that's one. Although magic game, you see, it's just education and, how do you earn money from it? I get a lot of questions. So how do you earn money from this? How do you earn money? Okay. Yeah, not everything is about that, right? When you educate, when you share content, you're not going to get money out of it, but you need to educate people. People need to know what is it, right? And you need to build trust, right? So over time, when people need it, they know where to look for you. As simple as that. So what keeps me going is really the opportunity to work with different brands, different founders, the close community, and the support from people and partners like all of you, right? So yeah, hope that answers.
Okay. I mean, that really feels very genuine in a way that you're not like just focusing on money, and then by focusing on what you wish your clients can become like more successful, I think that will make you more successful, really.
You're
Yeah.
right, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Luke, for completing my sentence. Yeah, I'd like to also thank BBX for hosting this session. And thank you for having me today. Yep.
Yeah, we're really grateful to have you, Renee. Thank you so much for your insightful presentation. We really, I'm sure a lot of us had different takeaways from this as well. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any more questions that they would like to ask Renee? Or as mentioned, if you're too shy, you can reach out to her via email. She has listed her email in the chat box. So yeah, and everyone can just reach out to her.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Renee.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for speaking.
In
Thank
touch.
you.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming in. And
thanks for
we
coming
hope
in,
to see you at our next one next Friday, which is another exciting topic to look forward to.